Hot take alert, Milos Kerkez is not good enough for Liverpool, and I have the data to prove it. In this video, I'm going to compare Kerkez's stats with Liverpool's current left backs, Robertson and Tsimikas. And at the end, I have a big question for you all, so please stick around for that. All right, let's look at some of the data and compare. Milos Kerkez, seemingly the Premier League's hottest left back prospect, and what a lot of people are saying Liverpool should go after. I actually disagree. I don't think he's good enough. So we're going to compare some stats with Kerkez, Robbo, and Tsimikas to see just how good or bad Milos Kerkez is. And I think you'll see it my way. By the way, I want to educate you all. I don't want us to be mindlessly chasing after hot prospects that actually are not good enough. That's what Manchester United is doing. So, all right. Let's look at some general stats to start us off. We got goals, assists, expected goals, non-penalty expected goals, progressive carries, all that stuff. Look at this. Just looking at this from the color chart eye test, Andy Robertson, I think, has performed better. By the way, this is in the last 365 days comparing all left backs in Europe's top 5 leagues. So we can see the goals and assists, pretty similar between Robbo and Kerkez. But when you get into expected goals, expected assists, progressive carries, progressive passes, Robbo's got a clear edge. All right, let's look at Tsimikas. Kind of the same story, not quite as good as Robbo. Certainly not in the goals or assist category. Actually, it actually is way better in the assist category. Not scoring goals, that's fine. We don't really need that in a left back. But is he able to get the ball up? And the expected assisted goals is very high for Robbo and Tsimikas, not so much for Kerkez. All right, let's move on. We're going to look at passing. Milos Kerkez is a subpar, below average passer of the ball. I don't know if you guys knew this. Like, he's got some stats and highlight reels, but he's not doing that all the time. He's not doing that consistently. And I think Milos Kerkez is kind of catching fire in the media because he does have those highlight reels. He's got those pretty hard tackles that he comes in on. He scores a goal and assists every now and again, and he's kind of a highlight reel. But we don't want a highlight reel. We want a good left back. So let's look at this. This is insane, guys. Look at the difference right here between Andy Robertson and Milos Kerkez. That is insane. Andy Robertson, one of the best passing left backs in the Premier League, maybe in Europe comparatively. Like, this is insane. Look at those numbers, and then you look at Tsimikas as well, and both of these guys are way better passers than Milos Kerkez. Now, you could say, well, they play in a different system where Arneslot is relying on his back line and his left back in particular to do a lot of passing, but hey, I'll direct your attention to pass completion percentage, okay? Because that is a stat that doesn't rely on volume like we see the passes completed or passes attempted. And I'll give it to you, like Milos Kerkez is in the 23rd percentile for pass completion percentage for long passes. Robbo's only in the 40th and Tsimikas in the 43rd. So not a huge difference there, but you look at the short completion percentage and medium completion percentage, and Robbo and Tsimikas are way, way, way better. So I think if we brought in Milos Kerkez, I think we'd be slightly annoyed at his passing and maybe not quite up to par with Arne Slot's standards. I think, by the way, it is Arne Slot who's going to go after and tell Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, like, I want this player, can you go get them for me? I don't think he wants Milos Kerkez because the numbers just don't add up. All right, so you might be tempted to say, well, but Kerkez is a better defender. Like, we need a better defensive left back, and Robbo and Tsimikas just aren't quite cutting it. Well, I got bad news for you. Milos Kerkez is actually not a very good defender either. Tsimikas is probably the best defender out of these three. But if you look at the tackles won, tackling in general, Kerkez is poor. Robbo's a little bit better. And then Tsimikas is the best out of the three. Kerkez only really excels in not losing challenges, right? So that's good, I suppose, but not a great blocker of passes or shots. He's good at intercepting, tackles plus interceptions. Tsimikas probably is the best overall defender out of these three. So here's the deal, guys. I'm just not convinced by Milos Kerkez. And I'd like to know who actually is good enough to be Liverpool's next left back of the future. And I do have that answer for you. I'd love to know what you think in the comments, but I looked at Europe's best left backs and I came up with the one player that I think is good enough for Liverpool, and you can find out who that is in this video right here.